curious, observant. Picture a herd of gazelles, a school of fish, or a flock of birds. If you look closely at these animals in the wild, you'll notice something curious. Within any given species, they are all essentially the exact same shape. In fact, chronic obesity really only exists in two categories of life on Earth: us and the animals we domesticate. When we notice our waistlines expanding, our immediate assumption is that we are simply eating too much food, and the standard response is to deploy a restrictive diet to fix it. We count calories, we measure portions, and force ourselves to eat less. Standard diets rely on willpower to suppress an essential survival mechanism. This creates a state of perpetual deprivation that the human body is biologically programmed to reject, ensuring that the weight eventually returns. Many people blame their weight on a slow metabolism or genetics, claiming they hardly eat anything but still gain pounds. But look at populations experiencing genuine famine. When human beings are truly deprived of food, excess weight vanishes entirely. Glands and genetics don't override starvation. Since weight gain doesn't stem from a failure of character or a genetic fluke, the cause must lie within the mechanics of digestion. Our hunger signals are reacting to a specific breakdown in how our bodies process the modern diet. The human body is a highly sophisticated survival engine. It is the result of 3 billion years of evolutionary trial and error, designed to extract energy and dispose of waste with remarkable efficiency. Imagine you have a combustion engine designed to run on refined liquid fuel. Now imagine running out of gas, chopping up a plastic bucket, and shoving the hard plastic shards into the fuel tank. That is essentially what we do to our bodies when we consume modern processed foods. Biologically, these processed foods require massive amounts of energy to break down. Your digestive system has to work overtime to process these dense, unnatural materials, creating a heavy load of internal waste and toxins, while extracting very little usable energy in return. Most of what we eat today has been heavily processed. The primary goal of processing, whether it's canning, freezing, or adding preservatives, is to render the food inedible to bacteria, so it won't decompose. But doing this destroys the food's natural, vital water content, which your body desperately needs to transport nutrients and flush out waste. When you fill up on these dehydrated, nutrient-poor foods, your stomach physically expands and feels bloated, yet your brain's nutrient sensors register a deficit. Because you haven't given the body the vitamins and liquids it actually requires, it keeps the hunger signal switched firmly on. Filling the stomach with nutrient-poor materials keeps the brain's hunger signal permanently active. The body remains trapped in a relentless search for actual biological fuel within a mountain of empty waste. From childhood, we receive a constant stream of messaging telling us that to grow strong muscles and maintain healthy bones, we must consume heavy amounts of meat and dairy. But compare the human digestive tract to that of an actual carnivore. We lack the fangs and sharp claws designed to tear through raw flesh. And our stomach acid is incredibly weak compared to a lion, which produces 10 times more acid specifically to break down raw meat and the dangerous toxins inside it. Because we aren't naturally equipped to process it, meat places a heavy tax on our system. The human body often burns more energy just trying to digest the dense tissue and dispose of the resulting waste than it actually extracts from the meat itself. The dairy myth is equally mismatched to our biology. Humans are the only species on the planet that drinks milk past the weaning stage, let alone the milk of an entirely different animal. The enzymes needed to properly break down and digest milk largely disappear from our bodies by the age of 3. Now, the human body is incredibly resilient. It can survive on meat and dairy, and it will adapt to handle them. But mere survival does not mean these are the optimal fuels our evolutionary engine was designed to run on. To find out what our digestive system is actually built for, we only need to look at our closest genetic relatives in the wild. We share over 99% of our DNA and nearly identical digestive organs with the great apes. An adult male gorilla is 30 times stronger than an average human, Yet it builds that massive muscle and bone density almost entirely on a diet of fresh fruit, nuts, and leafy vegetation. This points us to Mother Nature's ideal food package for humans, foods that can be eaten and easily digested raw in their completely natural state. These foods have a very high liquid content, which supplies vital oxygen and ensures smooth, rapid digestion. By eating fresh, water-rich fruits and vegetables, you achieve maximum energy gain with the absolute minimum digestive tax. And because these foods perfectly satisfy your biological nutrient sensors, becoming biologically obese while eating them is virtually impossible. Realigning with this natural system doesn't mean you have to obsessively count calories, measure fat grams, or adopt an extreme, restrictive raw vegan lifestyle. This diagram illustrates a highly practical approach known as the junk margin rule. It establishes a baseline where 70% of your dietary intake consists of species-appropriate natural foods, leaving a 30% margin for everything else. The math here is surprisingly forgiving. If you simply eat fresh fruit for breakfast and include a substantial fresh salad with your other meals, you easily hit that 70% target. That leaves the remaining 30% open for whatever processed or heavier foods you enjoy, without doing lasting harm to your body. Once you start providing the right fuel, you can stop fearing hunger. Instead of viewing it as an enemy to be suppressed, you can recognize hunger for what it actually is, a friendly, highly accurate biological gauge that is simply asking for true nutrients and hydration. By unlearning societal myths and aligning our habits with our evolutionary biology, we remove the internal friction. You can eat your favorite natural foods until you are completely satisfied, effortlessly reach your body's natural weight, and step off the miserable dieting treadmill forever.